good morning, and this is Rolf from Tesla Owners US, and today I'm sitting in my Roadster and it needs service as well. And where I'm going to Gruber, and you'll be with me.
Hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. All the good times just begun. We know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life.
Here we are. So that's Gruber, that's one of the buildings there, that's a new building, and we have a whole bunch of Teslas here. If you look around here, yeah, they're all waiting for be serviced. Good, these are only Model S's because my Roadster gets the service first, that's good. Maybe there's also cars purchased or we have other problems. We can ask. You know, we have Julian here next to me, and he's gonna take off my car, and then I'm telling you a little bit what it is, what the problem is. And in here I ask you to fill in some inspection information. Okay. So it basically light check, pedal brakes, and so on, windshield, and everything's all okay. Yeah. Okay. That's awesome. Actually it, just in case I want to have it, put it on 2 rows that someone can rent that car. Okay. So yeah. Okay.
So
good.
We could go ahead and make sure the horn works. We'll start off with that.
You can do it for yourself. So okay, yeah, horn works.
So that's one off the list.
Yeah. So here's the key. Okay. And yeah, I think there were 3 things: the TPMS system, which is always a problem, right?
Yeah,
that is not a good TPMS system.
They're pretty hard to calibrate. But yeah, once those TPMS sensors go bad, you will always have that fault coming up in the cluster. Yeah. So we'll go ahead and swap those, and we'll also balance your tires while we're at it.
Yeah, that's the first one. The second one is DMV fan. There was a warning message, and especially today there was no warning message. Everything was fine, but but when it was hot temperature, there came a warning message. We had it the last time, and it was a contactor to the motors. And we changed the motors a while ago, I don't know, 2 years or so.
Yeah.
I don't know what the maintenance cycle is for those motors.
Well, we'll go ahead and do it just to verify exactly what the culprit is. We'll go ahead and run a log analysis.
Yes.
And that way we'll be able to find out if it's the connectors or the squirrel cage. What's going bad, because over time they develop a bunch of gunk and debris, which makes it harder for the fan to spin.
Yeah.
And that bearing.
And then there's a resistance, and then you get a message.
Yeah, and then you get that message. Yeah. And it usually happens around summertime. I have a customer in Vegas. Yeah. Undergoing the same issue.
And the last thing is the PEM needs the cleaning, because it also there's a lot of dust coming in there, and so you probably have to disassemble the PEM. Needed other cleaning. I always wanted to put filter on the top of the fan. I have something like that.
You know what's new that we actually started doing, which I don't think we haven't done it on your fan yet? Yeah. There's a DC brush motor in the bottom of the PEM. That's actually attached to the PEM. We started recently replacing those. I can go ahead and show you inside. Oh
yes, yeah. Let's look at that. Once you show me the DC brush motor at the bottom of the PEM, and you don't have to turn it around.
Well,
so.
Yeah, you know what? I'll just do this real quickly.
Yeah.
And then I'll tilt it. Which way is it? Can we tilt it? We could
yes.
Tilt it.
This is the big PEM, but there are also smaller PEMs.
Let's just put it upside down real quickly.
Yes. And I'm going to change that PEM on. This is the PEM what gets cleaned, and I guess this is the motor.
That's the motor. So we actually just replaced this one. That's why it looks so clean. But typically, there's a lot of resistance
in this motor.
This looks.
And that's why also probably the heating comes on. My heating lamp comes on all the time.
It could be because of that as well. Yeah.
If you have this motor there, replace that motor. I don't know if you.
Yeah, we're always changing them on the 1.5s now.
Yeah. Oh, there's Mr. Senior there. So yeah, that would be awesome if you can change that motor there, because I asked to get the PEM out to get it cleaned.
Yeah.
And then why don't we change the motor when it's here attached anyway?
We have autopsy pictures of these fans. These are DC brush motor fans.
Yeah.
And the cavity inside here, once we take them apart, is full of carbon brush dust, which indicates that the brushes that are on a commutator are constantly wearing down.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the bearings as well. You know, after we the life of these is about 5 years. So we've been changing every single 1.5 PEM fan that comes in like this.
Yeah, there might be already that it's already 5 years ago when I upgraded my PEM or when we overhauled my PEM, right?
Well, 5 years ago we weren't changing this fan.
You were not
but yours
changing.
is not a 1.5. Yours is
No,
a 2.0.
I have a 2.0, right?
Oh, 2.0. You've got
2.5 or 2.5.
Yeah, you got the dual fans underneath.
Yeah.
Now, this is just for the 1.5s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, there are other things in the 1.5s, or in fact in any Roadster, that are wear items. The the coolant pump is a Bosch DC brush motor. Same thing as this.
Oh wow!
And you know, it's a vital part of the Roadster, because if the coolant gets compromised, then the DC to DC converter inside the battery pack sometimes burns up because it gets too hot.
Oh wow!
So that's another good reason. And then the final reason is we know they're going to go bad. While it's apart is the cheapest time to do it. If you wait until it fails, then you have to take it to Tesla or to us, and we have to tear it apart. And you know, here it is; it's all apart already. So that's the time to change it.
Okay, good.
Did you want to be famous? Did you want to be on the video?
Yeah, he is already. I explained him about about what the front is. So basically, what we want to do, a PEM cleaning, the TPMS system upgrade, or not upgrade, a check, right? Check is a check
first,
because I get an error message, and then from time to time I get the DMV fan warning, especially when it's hot. And we had last time it was the connector got bad, and let's see if we have to exchange the fans or not. Yeah. But this is where I always wanted to put a filter on. Right, you remember that?
Yeah, you came down and gave us some. By the way, the other thing that we do is we check the duct. There's actual 4-inch duct underneath on yours.
Oh yes.
And if it's the original duct from 12 years ago, it's a neoprene rubber. Yeah. And it gets fissured and cracked and brittle with age.
Yeah.
If you get cracks and fissures in there, then it can't provide enough cooling to the PEM heat sinks.
Yeah, then
so
please.
That too. Yeah.
That is this duct here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Then
the other thing we do is Tesla was using nylon tie wraps to hold that on. Well, after 10 years, nylon is brittle and breaks, so it usually comes loose.
What do you use? Metal clamps?
Stainless steel metal clamps.
Clamps.
Yes. Long-term, protection.
Yes, because I want to keep the car for a long term.
Yeah.
It has 111,150 miles or so on it. Yeah. So, and it needs to keep going. Right? That's why you guys are here to keep it going. Okay, good. Then I could do a little tour with Senior around the
you want to
here, and then for you, you got the key, you got everything. Okay, you're ready to go.
Yep.
Right?
Nice.
All right. Good.
So the lab area is evolving.
We saw that. Really good.
We are back to doing lots of PEMs. Here's some Roadster things that you might be interested in. This is the light ring. And,
yes, that what went damaged for me as well.
Yes, and you can see how the corrosion builds up in that little housing. This is that one. Do you remember the charge ring problem that we saw?
Yes. Yeah.
This is the one that we're having
for the charge port.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
What we're currently challenged with is these are triple LEDs. There is red, green, and blue.
Yes. Yes.
And when they fail, these original LEDs are no longer being made. So what we're having to do is actually modify the circuit board to accommodate the new LEDs. And in this case, this board was badly corroded. So there's a chip here that basically corroded off. On the back, we had to recreate etches because they were corroded off. And the connector was the worst part. what we had to do there, this was completely missing. It was corroded off. So we rebuilt it on our Bridgeport mill. We took the plastic off and then actually soldered a new pin on here. And the problem with this connector, there's an interesting story, and we haven't given up yet. When we called AMP, who makes this, they said this is a proprietary Tesla part. Now, the first problem with this is, when you're in production mode...
This is the connection from here, right?
Yeah, this is the connection that goes on this board and brings all of the voltages out and inputs.
Yeah.
So the first problem in production is when you're making something in high volume, you want to buy an off-the-shelf part. Whenever you have custom made, first of all, you have a high minimum order quantity, and the cost goes way up. So we don't understand why Tesla went with a custom connector rather than an off-the-shelf, because this is a simple Molex 90-degree connector with 9 pins.
Yes.
So what we're doing currently is...
You can upgrade that to a new connector. Yeah, maybe.
Well, we can't find anything that fits into the circuit board pattern or into the housing. Because there's a certain geometry here that we have to maintain.
Yeah.
So that's the current challenge, is we're now rebuilding them until we can get the vendor to, or get Tesla to give us a letter of authorization, which oftentimes happens. So they tell the vendor, you know, Gruber's okay. They're keeping our cars alive. It's okay to sell to them. So we're in process with that right now.
Yeah.
This is the HVAC controller in a 1.5 Tesla Roadster. This one is faulty, and you can see there are a lot of components in here. Including microchips. And the only way to keep these functioning, since they aren't being made and haven't been made in over 12 years, is to repair them. Yours has a smaller version, but it still has an HVAC controller.
Yeah.
This is a driver board for a PEM inverter power board. And I'm not sure what they're doing with that, but we thoroughly test them during a PEM rebuild to make sure that all of the values and the chips are working properly.
Okay, it looks good, looks awesome.
So let's go look out here in the shop area.
Yeah.
We put in our 10th lift last month.
10 lifts, wow.
We have 9 here and then 1 over in the tire section. And they're pretty much in play most of the time. You can see a lot of them are loaded up with Roadsters. And the Model S's are coming in as well, where we're doing battery work.
Yeah.
We had to rebuild a lot of our test equipment. This, for example, is an 11-point charger. And where we use this is when we take and drop a battery pack and we repair the sheets. And then we have to bring all of the sheets to the same voltage level. So what this device does is it can charge 11 sheets at a time. We dial in the voltage and current we want, and once they're all at the same level, then the pack is balanced, and when it goes up in the car, you get maximum range immediately without having to try to balance and have it settle in.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good guys.
Any notable Roadsters? We've got a $212,000 Roadster here right now, VIN 71. This one.
Oh yeah, the price is going up, right?
Well, this one is VIN 71, so it's a Signature 100 car.
Yeah.
It belonged to a rock star drummer. Red Hot Chili Peppers was the band.
Yeah.
Punk rock band. And you might want to take a look at that carbon fiber plaque inside there.
So here's a carbon fiber plaque. Yes. Yeah.
And later on, when you edit, you may want to edit out the profanity that's on the plaque. So you'll see it when you're editing.
So he drives this car, yeah?
This car actually was sold.
Is that a 1.5 or is that a, no, it's a 2.0?
No, this is a 1.5. It's VIN 71. So it's
70, yeah, it's a 1.5, yes, correct.
And it's going to Amsterdam eventually. It was bought here at an auction here in the United States.
For over $200,000?
$212,000. The reason being is it's a signature car. The signature cars are starting to go up in value now.
Yeah.
But it was also celebrity owned. And,
you got number 5.
Well, yeah, that's in the corner of their charging. I had to bring it in because Phoenix, it's too hot. My garage is too hot and the car just chokes with all the heat.
That's the same as my car is actually outside, and you know, it takes me forever to charge my car, And my car's on 240 volt. It charges at the end of 2 amp, at the of 10 amp. It's the minimum.
Yeah.
And then I said, you know what? I put it on 120 volt because that's 15 amp, 120 volt. That's even a little bit lower, but it's very slowly charging. That's why I also bring it in because of the PEM cleaning, so they get a little bit more cooling from the car.
You know, we just interviewed the first Tesla service technician, Jameson Cummings. He was here actually a couple days ago.
Oh,
and
really?
We did a podcast with him. We've got a video coming out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Where he reminisces about the early days of Tesla. And he was telling us about the 1.5 Roadsters that were in various parts of the world. They had one in Dubai. And
really?
It belonged to a sheikh, and it was overheating all the time.
Oh, sure.
He was talking about having roundabouts there, and what he wanted to do after going through the roundabout was squirt into traffic fairly quickly, but because of power limiting and the car being too hot, he had no power, no oomph to do that. So they figured since he was a high-profile client, being a sheikh and all, they would fly their two top people. He was one of them, and then there was a German technician that flew in to work on these, or to work on this Roadster that was overheating all the time. So Tesla at one point did recognize that these extremely hot climates, like Las Vegas right now, we've got cars dying up there, are not conducive to Roadsters, and they had a design change that they made to the PEM, which actually toned down the firmware so that it didn't respond to the high heat as much. Now, it still ran hot, of course.
Yes.
The firmware didn't complain as much.
But it didn't melt.
Yeah, right.
So it was just before melting. So the firmware, they toned down the warning messages at temperatures, right? And said, we allow you more temperature, right?
Right. But the point there being is when you develop a product, you really have to test it in a variety of climates. He was also telling a story how up in Canada, the defrost wasn't working properly. They had put speakers into the defrost ports, apparently. And during extremely cold climates up there, it was just overheating everything because they had to clean the windshield, defrost the windshield. So it was interesting to hear the stories about how Tesla evolved and learned things about how to make cars.
Learning by doing, right? All right. Okay.
The other updates?
Yes.
See.
Here's my car.
Yeah, they brought it already.
They brought it in.
The Model S, as you can see, this is a typical process. We have battery gurneys that we repurpose critical power equipment.
Yeah.
And we lay them on its side, then we use battery shelves inside the battery cabinets. And these then we weld wheels on them. And once we drop the pack on this, then we're able to go in with laptops and through the CAN bus ports, figure out what's going inside. Right? Yes.
Yeah.
And this one is reporting some strange behavior. Some bricks are high, some are low, and we're thinking there may be water ingress. So this one will be taken apart, and we'll dig into it.
Yeah, and this is the car without the battery pack on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That one and this one.
Oh, this one. Where is the battery going for this one?
This battery is in the other building right now. It's being serviced there.
Okay.
And what is amazing is the car is so much lighter. When the guys push it around, they can always tell when it's one with a drop battery because 1,200 pounds are gone.
Yeah. Yes. And you got in your own car.
Yeah.
This is your own car, right? This is one of your service cars, yeah?
This is actually a founder's car. So it's a pedigreed Model S, one of the early ones, very early ones.
This must be a very early VIN number. Very early VIN number.
It's not like the other one we have, which is
I don't see the VIN. Here's it.
Yeah, there it is.
Here's the VIN. No, it's 1751.
1751, yeah.
It's a higher VIN number as mine. Mine is S00 and something. Yeah. So that's a founder's car, basically. All the founders, probably all the investors, got these cars, right?
The early VIPs got the upgraded. They all had 21-inch wheels, upgraded sound system. But this one still needs some battery work. But
this one happened to me as well.
Yeah, we're gonna take this off.
And you know what I did in mine? Actually, you should have to sand it down and then
re-clear coat
and spattle it.
Yeah.
But I put carbon fiber foil on it.
Foil, yeah.
I foiled it, and it looks the same way. I hope that Martina comes with this car, and then you can see it. So this happens all the time, this stuff here, right? It's happened with our car as well. Now you can see the underground under the foil because he didn't sand it down, right? Yeah. But this comes from breaking up the paint, right? Mm-hmm. The clear coat.
Right? Yeah, the clear coat. The ultraviolet eats at the clear coat.
Yeah.
The resin as well.
Yeah.
I do have something else for you.
Yeah.
Headlights. You used to take Roadster headlights apart, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Put in the LED. Okay.
Yeah.
We're doing that as well. And what we found is that little lens for the parking light is an incandescent bulb.
Yes.
And it lays at an angle up against the mounting tab. And we've got a number of Roadsters that little lens has come loose and fallen off inside the housing.
Oh, yes.
Our fix now is we are able to take them apart. We resurface the inside of the lens. We change that incandescent bulb to an LED, right? Yes. The same Kelvin rating as the other high and low beams.
Yeah.
And the heat is gone.
Yes.
So that solves that problem.
Yeah.
And we're able to now completely recondition the headlights. We have a couple of prototypes on Victor's desk, but you can see a lot of these cars need it. This one seems okay. Well, no, not really. Now this if it has cracks into the lens like this, there is no repair for that because they don't make the replacement lenses. But if it's peeling, then of course we can repair it. Or foggy. Yeah, this one has some fogginess underneath.
Yes, you see that. Yeah, this is mine.
Oh, this is yours. Okay, yeah, there we go.
But I have to, I can rework that because I have more of those lights.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
There's a clean one there, the Midnight Blue.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
This one is falling off, this piece?
It's falling off, and the incandescent bulb inside there is at an angle, and it leans up against the mounting tab.
Yeah.
The other thing that we're finding is we figured out where the water ingress and the moisture is coming from. There are two rubber cups back there that seal off about 3-inch holes, 2.5 inch, 3 inch.
Yeah, yeah.
Those with age are getting brittle and expanding. So we have new rubber cups, and we're actually going to put a clamp around them to seal it so that it doesn't allow any moisture to get back into the lens.
Oh, good, good, good. Yeah.
This one I think is clean.
This looks good. Yeah. That's even darker. You see, this one is darker. Yeah.
This one we did the red brake calipers, and it has our performance brake system for the Roadster.
Oh yes.
And you know, I test drive all these cars. I'm the only one I trust to test drive a Roadster. That's my excuse anyway. But the stopping power on our performance brake system, it's night and day.
Oh really?
Oh, you can feel it, you can sense it, you know, yeah.
Yeah, because the brakes are always sucky. Yeah. Especially you have more weight on the car. Right? Yeah. So, okay, that looks good, guys. It's coming along here now. Yeah. Right?
The battery bunker is going to be built out. We finished the ramps last month, so now it's level ground, and we're able to wheel battery modules, you know, across a level surface now.
So, and then you wheel that whole thing in here.
Right, we're going to build out the inside with drywall and put service benches inside here, good lighting. Air conditioning.
Yeah.
But,
you put power on it here.
Oh yeah.
Here's your power.
We have power, air, and water that's coming from the other building.
Oh wow!
And the reason for that is we put the utility section back in the corner here, which is where the air compressor is. That used to run inside the building. It was pretty noisy.
Yeah.
It's messy right now because they're sandblasting various things that went through the fire, but eventually that'll be all cleaned up. We'll have a sandblaster mounted underneath there. The pressure washer is there, and the rest of that stuff is all going out.
Yeah, very good. You're getting there. It's good.
It's taking shape. Yeah. And we have Roadsters in the other buildings. There are 3 other locations we have Roadsters. So what you see here is probably half of what's.
So what we see here is only half of it. So there are even more Roadsters.
And there are Roadsters coming in. There are 3 of them on their way.
Oh, really?
One that we found out about yesterday. What's happening these days is the GFI plug on those charge cables. We're going to start recommending people get rid of those and go to the level 1 charger with the CAN Senior adapter. I can't tell you how many Roadsters we've become aware of that have died because a yellow charge cable GFI plug failed and they didn't realize it.
But you know how I replaced it, right?
I just put a regular plug on.
There was a plug on for a couple of dollars at Home Depot, and I replaced the plug, and then I put that plug in.
Yeah, that's one way. We're also.
But I have the same situation. From time to time, it just snaps. The GFI snaps.
Yeah.
And then the car is not charging anymore. But I'm watching it on my app, right, all the time. So you need to keep the car charging, and if you don't watch it, and you have many of those cars and they are not being charged, battery goes down. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
2 of them coming in are in that mode right now. And the second thing we're seeing is, and we have a video on this, is we all were wondering how long these batteries are going to last. It looks like the end of life failure mode is that a cell will go resistant, and it's usually 1 at a time. But it disables the entire car because the safety systems in a Roadster won't allow a charge to anything more than the lowest brick in the car.
Oh.
So when they come here, what we do, we don't have any, there's one dropped right there. We drop the battery pack, go inside the sheet, and we find, let's go around over here.
Yeah. You find the resistant cells.
Exactly, yes. And while we're in there, we also take a look at the DC to DC converter.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's usually just 1 resistive cell in one of these sheets. There's 621 cells per sheet with 9 bricks in each sheet.
Yeah.
And it'll be 1 cell, and once we find that, take it out of circuit, the car comes right back to normal.
Damn it, right? 1 cell.
That's
and
all
then
it takes.
1 at a time.
But the good news is, JB was even saying we thought these were going to last 10 years. Some of these are 14 years now in the 2008s.
Yeah, my car is now 11 years.
11 years, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's still, I mean, your CAC isn't stellar, but you can drive it and it's not declining.
Yes.
A person with a resistive cell would see a steady decline every time they charge. And sometimes it's severe. They charged last night and it went to 75. The next morning it only went to 60. And, it was like 10 to 20 mile increments.
Yes.
Or decrements.
My car is still around 90 to 100 miles.
Is it? Yeah.
At 90%, right?
Yeah. Our machine shop is up and running again. We still have 1 item to buy, which is a large bandsaw. And we're able to make tools with this. We just used it actually on a Tesla Roadster battery pack. Hardware, we're sorting right now.
Oh, you welded this piece.
Oh yeah. That's our repair for the cracked and the broken tabs.
Yes.
And what we ended up doing was buying a Synchro-Ray 351 Miller TIG welder to do this type of work. And I was amazed. This thing draws almost 100 amps at times. So yeah, it's a power hog. So this is the welding section. The parts section is coming back together. We're still working.
Yeah. I just saw you to put the shelves up here. Yeah. Piece by piece.
We picked the worst time of year to do it in Phoenix. It's going to be 113 today.
Yes, I noticed that. That's why my car's coming in for the pen cleaning.
Yeah, so those are the new things so far.
And then you service your own cars, right?
Yeah, we have to. We have some out on lease. We have loaners.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, when a customer comes to us with a car problem, we usually give them a Model S loaner to use. Oh, the other odd thing is we own a brown Model S. These are 2 customer cars here. What's odd about that is they only made 334 brown colored Model S's. We have 3 of them here, so we have 1% of the population of brown Model S's. It wasn't a very popular color for some reason.
And that's the T0.
T0.
You sanded that, finally.
We did it.
It looks good.
Yeah, it does. You know, you can see here's a intact rotor, and there is one that is melted.
Yeah.
What we're also doing is, since it's a cutaway, we repaired some of these battery mounts, and I have 28 of these on order. And what we're going to do is actually replicate where the batteries were in this car before we mount it up on the wall to show this first generation electric vehicle. These were absorbent glass mat batteries, which essentially is a lead acid battery.
Yeah.
And one of Elon's jokes was, he would say, you know, the T0 was great, but there were some design problems. First of all, there were no doors. You had to climb up over this to get into the Recaro racing seats, which wasn't a big problem. There was a little fold-up door here. But the big problem was if you got T-boned, you ended up with lead-acid batteries in your lap. Sulfuric acid.
that was a little bit of a problem.
So there was a safety problem. On the other side here, you can see the there's a hitch.
Yes.
And the purpose of that was before, in 1997, when they made these, there were no charging stations. And when you ran out of electricity, there was a Honda generator contraption that you could pull along with you behind here that supplied DC power to charge the battery so you could continue to drive. So for the first 80 miles, you had 0 carbon footprint. And then after that, you were suddenly spewing all kinds of hydrocarbons through a 2-stroke engine, negating all of the gains you had made. But the car was still way ahead of its time.
Yeah.
What we're going to leave is some of things like this. We're not going to paint the original motor, but the rest of the chassis we're going to paint bright yellow, just like the color of the car.
And the gearbox, it was still working? This is the gearbox, right?
It's a gearbox, but it's melted. You can see portions of it exposed.
Yeah.
Bearings that are exposed. It was an aluminum housing, that's why.
Yeah. Last thing here, infrared camera. So the purpose of that is?
So the purpose is, we find that in this climate, there is a lot of roadster overheating issues, and Las Vegas or Palm Desert, where that Midnight Blue car is going.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we're doing now is research to find out where the heat buildup is inside the power electronics module, and we're doing that with an infrared camera and carefully recording the readings that we get amongst various roadsters.
Yes.
And we will use that data to then make modifications and look at some repairs.
Pete makes those cars better. They were just
that's the goal.
Very quickly made, and that's it, right?
See here, you can see.
Here's the infrared,
And you would expect that hot spot right there is that chip right there, which is an LSI chip.
Yeah, but it's not, right? What? Is it?
It is. It's that chip.
Yeah.
And we probably will see some more there. Those are the Hall effect sensors, and you see that there's a bank of transistors there. These are the transistors that drive the PEM cooling motor.
Oh, okay.
But our main issues are with the inverter boards, where we have overheating issues. And the Roadster has safety mechanisms built in. In the 3 inverter heat sinks, there are thermistors buried in the heat sink sensing temperature. And when it reaches a certain level, exceeds a certain level, then the firmware begins power limiting, and you no longer have 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds.
I get that all the time.
Yes, he does.
Okay, good. Hey, Pete, thank you very much for the introduction now again.
Well, thank you for coming by.
And we always love to come here and see great cars and great improvements in servicing Teslas, what Tesla might have forgotten. Right? And they might have forgotten even the Roadsters. I guess so. All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Bye bye. See you the next time.
Thank you. Bye.
Subscribe, yes?